In a world of increasingly automated finance, whether it's done by algorithms or by agents, the best financial intelligence leads to the best financial decision making. And to talk about that today, we have a lovely panel of guests to talk all about AgentFi, but particularly as it applies to earning yield on your stablecoins. So I want to give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves. Let's start with our co-host from Cambrian, Jason and Doug. Jason, you want to go first?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Yeah, I guess I just to give you a brief background, I've been investing in the space since 2014. My background is actually in traditional finance, managing a multi-billion-dollar pension fund, and then for the last few years, I've been a general partner of Kronos Ventures, so investing in early stage crypto projects. And then I met Sam, the founder of Cambrian, and the Cambrian team at the end of 2024, and never looked back. And recently, sort of a few months ago, joined full time as chief operating officer of Cambrian.
Thank you for that, Jason. Doug, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm Doug. I'm our product lead at Cambrian. I've been in the space since about 2017 and have been building products in the space ever since then. Everything from DeFi to staking. And yeah, met Sam and the Cambrian team as part of the Graph ecosystem a couple years ago and have been working on all things agents and AgentFi since then.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'm also excited to be joined by someone, and you'll have to forgive my dad joke here, someone who's been making waves in the world of AgentFi. That someone is Alejandro, joining us from the Sail team. Alejandro, you want to give us a brief intro?
Sure, guys. So thank you for inviting me first. And yeah, I'm Alejandro. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sail. So at Sail, we are building personalized financial agents, currently focused on stablecoin yield, which I think is the reason to be here talking today. And yeah, have a background in TradFi. I joined DeFi in about 2021, 2022, and basically been building in the agentic space since the end of 2023. So yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. All right. And just to give a little more context for folks who are watching, this is part of a series that has really been born out of a research report that we at Cambrian have been doing. So I'm going to just give you a quick preview. If you go to cambrian.org/blog, you can see the most recent research report, which we published in December. And this really, like, our team has been looking at all the projects in the space from a variety of flavors of agentic finance, and looking at, how do these projects implement algorithms, AI, how much research do they do versus how much are they executing transactions. So I encourage everyone to take a look at that. Just head over to cambrian.org/blog. And yeah, so we're going to dig into this niche of crypto called agentic finance, AgentFi for short. But for the uninitiated, Doug, maybe you can give us a brief definition of agentic finance and how we've been classifying some of these projects.
Yeah, so there's a few terms going around. I think Deep AI was kind of one of the more popular over the past year, and we feel like that term is too limiting because agentic finance is all encompassing. It basically just means giving control, some control or full control of finances over to an agent. So that's more than just DeFi in our view. That's everything within the crypto space, including lending and yield, but that's traditional finance as well. So we've categorized the different projects in the space in a few different ways. One category is trading and portfolio optimization agents. And so these are basically co-pilots that have various levels of autonomy that help you invest, mostly in DeFi at this time. Um, we have liquidity provisioning agents, and lending agents. And we're starting to kind of see those two categories combined into one under yield, as most yield products, many do more than just lending or just LP management. And then we have sort of a sentiment fundamentals category that's more just sort of an assistant that you read and doesn't take action and do research basically. And then we have the prediction and betting agents category, which is more in the realm of prediction markets and betting. And so if you actually look at that report, we've broken it down on this chart. So we have an x-axis that's basically rule based on the left side and AI on the right side. And that just means algorithmic versus how much it's relying on algorithms versus LLMs. And then the y-axis we have on the very bottom provides research, and at the top is autonomy. And that just means how is the product informational, or is it autonomous in some way? And a lot of these projects are mixed. And the intention of this chart is to not say that some projects are better than others. It's just to kind of specify the way the tech is being used.
Awesome. I appreciate that, Doug. And yeah, I'll tease now, but we can dig into this later. I know you've been continuing your research for a new edition to be released in a little bit, but yeah, we'll talk about that later. All right, and Jason, is there anything you want to add about the growing popularity of AgentFi? Yeah, what brings us to this special point in crypto history?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think at a high level, we kind of have this convergence of, you know, DeFi becoming more advanced, more sophisticated, better risk parameters. We have, AI reaching a certain level of capability where people are now trusting it to carry out analysis and to build products effectively, utilizing AI. And then we also have this institutional adoption of crypto happening at the same time, and all three of those combining, I think, is kind of what's leading us to AgentFi now, where people are looking to not only build the products that we see in TradFi, but really take them a step further and create more personalized products for people to match their risk tolerances, rather than traditionally, you go out and you try and find the product that best matches you, where now we're finding these products which are tailor-made for individuals and their risk tolerances. And I think, maybe leading into kind of what Alejandro is doing at Sail, one of the key use cases we see around that is yield and yield optimization. And I think when you look at yield in crypto and yield in TradFi, but especially in crypto, where you can have tokens being lent on multiple different platforms, every token across multiple different dexes, multiple different pools, you literally have millions and millions of yield opportunities. And the reason I think agents and AgentFi is finding product market fit and TVL in that area is ultimately it is a data problem, which agents and agent builders are very good at optimizing for, where you're just taking in this huge amount of information, huge amount of opportunities, and analyzing it in very efficient time to enable you to capture the best opportunities in the market.
Awesome, awesome, Jason. That was really helpful context, and I think now we can give Alejandro an opportunity, to hear from himself. I want to hear the sales story, how you guys are accelerating agentic finance. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how the project came to be, and
Yes.
show us a little bit. Tell us what you're focusing on now. Yeah, let's hear it from you.
Sure, definitely. So, I mean, we started building in the space at the end of 2023. It was after a realization that maybe DeFi was made for agents specifically rather than for humans. And that is because, or is related to what Jason mentioned, right? That basically DeFi is a system that needs to be automated, and there are data problems that agents are really good at. So we decided to build at the intersection of AI and DeFi. The initial product that we built was a kind of a chat GPT bot for crypto. So a way to conduct transactions using natural language. And the thing is that we launched a closed beta at the beginning of 2024 and realized that people actually prefer to click buttons and just use widgets. And that the value proposition of AI agent was not necessarily the natural language interaction or the chat part, let's say. So after many months of thinking and debating, we arrive at what is our thesis right now, which is that agents are basically a technology or a mean to achieve personalized finance. So basically, that's what we are doing as a company right now. We are trying to unlock personalized finance. So how that works is that you can deploy unique agents per human, and these agents are going to understand your constraints, your preferences, your balance, right? Your portfolio size, and are going to make decisions, optimal decisions based on that. So we decided to start with the stablecoin yield. So we basically launched about 6 months ago what is Sail right now. So a personal AI agent for stablecoin yield. You basically can deposit USDC or USDT now, and the agent is going to take that stablecoin and is going to reallocate it across DeFi to maximize the outcome. Most recently, we also became the first AI agent in the world capable of conducting autonomous swaps and bridges in a non-custodial way. So this basically enables the agent to swap between USDC and USDT, in the future more stablecoins, and also to bridge between different chains. Also, like this, of course, opens the door for diversification at a portfolio level. So as a user, you just have to send a stablecoin to the agent, and the agent is going to basically create an stablecoin yield maximization portfolio for you. Managing size, diversification, all based on your preferences as a user. So as Jason mentioned, this is a data problem. So we built an optimization engine that basically considers or takes into account not only the current APY, but basically the APY volatility. We make estimations about the future APY, subtract cost. So we are considering gas fees, bridge fees, slippage, and we are making like a decision making, sorry for the redundancy, but a decision making process where the agent basically optimizes capital in real time. And also, I wanted to say that and talk about the UI and the goal of abstracting DeFi complexity, that we are not thinking about DeFi agents as natural language applications or natural language interfaces. We believe that the future of basically AI interfaces is more visual than chat based. Of course, we also believe in chat, right? You can have the chat as support or as another way to interact with your agent, but it's not going to be the only one, because the value proposition of the agent is actually automation. So the agent working in the background for you. So we design, or trying to design a very simple UI. I mean, basically your balance, you can check your earnings, APY, the number of transactions. We have a portfolio section that, as I mentioned, the agent has the ability to have money in different chains. At the moment, I'm having USDC, but we also support USDT. We are also like being super transparent in the curator and the protocol. And in the future, we are planning to also integrate non-liquid strategies. So with a different time frame.
And maybe
Also,
Alejandro, do you mind if I just ask a question? So I guess
yeah,
what's
sure. Please.
interesting is it seems like you said, it's kind of this data problem. There's so many opportunities within crypto, specifically in DeFi. To what extent do you see agents as like this new front end or new UI UX for users to actually interact with DeFi itself? Is that something that you guys are thinking about, or is it more so just offering just trying to get the best yield possible, and it's more of an optimization problem, or maybe both?
I mean, I believe that with agents, it's going to happen the same that is happening right now with crypto, that everybody is going to use crypto, but it's not going to know it. So with agents, it's going to be the same. Everyone that, clicks a button to start earning yield in any asset, and I mean like in 5 to 10 years, that capital is going to be optimized by an agent. So definitely, yeah, agents are a way to abstract DeFi for sure.
I'd love to expand on that question. So right now, the most of the yield rotation in this product and similar products is happening algorithmically. Algorithmically, naturally. How much do you see? How do you see that changing in the future, and how much do you see AI, specifically LLM input, coming into the equation over the next year or two?
Yeah, so that's a good question. For example, our product right now is more deterministic in the sense that it's following an algorithm. We use LLMs for the construction of the strategy and the filling of parameters and to collect some data, but the decision making process is more algorithmic. So I believe that with the clear advance that we are having with LLMs, the decision is going to be less deterministic with time and more based on inference. And for this to happen, we are going to need probably specialized or custom-made LLMs for this particular use case. So how are we approaching this right now is that we are following this deterministic approach because it's the one that works today. But the data that we are collecting with the current product that we have live, it's going to be really important in the sense that our agent, I think, has conducted around 80K transactions since we launched. We have conducted 500 million in volume with not that much AUM. So I think that this is going to compound over time. You can take this data, feed the LLMs with this data, which of course are going to get smarter and smarter, and the outcome would definitely improve with time. Yeah, sure. I was talking about personalization. So currently in the product, we support also the ability to personalize your agent. So for example, right now, we are only offering personalization at the permission level. So a permission is basically a session key or a permit that you send with your virtual account or with your smart account that only enable the agent to transact with a limited scope of yield sources, protocols or vaults. So for example, I have one safe right here that only uses vaults curated by Gauntlet. But I can create several, right? So for example, I can go here, I can select I want my agent transacting on Arbitrum and Base. I want USDC on Base, USDC on Arbitrum, and USDT on Arbitrum, and I can filter by, let's say, Morpho. If I select all the yield sources that we support for Morpho here, I can continue, save my personalization. So this is a Morpho strategy, let's say. Strategy. And basically, right now, I can apply this Morpho strategy. So I can have several customizations of personalization for my agent. And how this is going to change in the future is that you can also personalize at the strategy level. So you can select things like level of diversification, different risk profiles, and more. The idea is that your agent is going to completely know you in the right, will know other things about you. Like, I mean, for example, are you trying to save for a particular goal? You are trying to not only get yield, but maybe conduct a DCA in a particular asset. I mean, I think there is room for this product that it is a stablecoin yield agent today to become, a money agent, basically, an agent that is going to do anything money related. But yeah, this is it. I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions. I imagine you may have some. I mean, what is happening right now in DeFi is that, for example, let's take a vault, right? More for a stakehouse. This is the vault that integrated recently with Coinbase, right? So every Coinbase user is accessing DeFi yield through this vault, right? Maybe a guy with 1K, another one with 100K, maybe a Coinbase, I don't know, institutional user that has a multi-million-dollar portfolio. And at the same time, we are having a liquidity provider, let's say, with 100 million portfolio using the same vault. So these are different users, right? I mean, with different needs. So I think that agents are going to be the standard for everyone because it's more optimal. I mean, personalization creates markets that are more efficient. So it doesn't make sense that, for example, you have one single curator that is optimizing a product for the average user. There is no average user. That's not real, right? Because each human has a unique utility curve. So this is what we believe, and just straightly answering your question is that both are going to use agents, the institutional and also like the guy with I don't know $500 trying to save for whatever to buy a car, right?
I think that's what's super interesting to me around that as well is, if you take DeFi, DeFi itself is kind of this democratization of finance. It's great to access globally to financial products which people wouldn't be able to access otherwise. And then it seems like, when you take Sail and you take agentic finance and put that on top of that, it's like even further democratizing that access, because suddenly, what previously might have been a sophisticated quant strategy only available to top institutions
Exactly.
is now available to everyone, whether you are an institution or whether you are a retail user. So I like that
Exactly.
presentation and like the way you describe it, because to me that kind of is then even fulfilling the goals of DeFi even further and kind of spreading that access.
Exactly. I think that the last, let's say, 20 to 30 years in finance have been about access, like to finance services, right? So financial services. So, for example, the ability to transact globally with DeFi, we have programmable money that you can like basically conduct payments without having cash in your pocket. I mean, we have that thanks to the internet, thanks to them, the fintech, let's say, generation. Right now we have DeFi, which is even more a personalization an advancement in finance because it's permissionless, right? So the next step is going to be about financial intelligence. We are right now in the process of democratizing financial intelligence. It's not access to money or financial services, it's to the intelligence. What you mentioned, right? Like let's imagine a quant level strategy to every human. I think that's the next step for sure.
Yeah, something that really strikes me, you, Jason, and Alejandro were just saying. Yeah, I do believe this to be like uh, maybe I would even call it a third wave that democratizes it to a brand new level, built in brand new tech. I mean, in the '90s, late '90s, early 2000s, you did have internet making it possible to like open an E-Trade account and play with securities.
Exactly.
Then you had the the iPhone moment, and you had the app moment, and suddenly you have players like Robinhood, Titan is like a robo advisor, Public. You have all these apps that allow people to, okay, yeah, you had the internet, but now the UX has improved. And now we're seeing this kind of like this convergence, and we're seeing crypto native Rails on the back end, plus this simplified UI UX that you were talking about, Alejandro, and these strategies democratized for everyone. I think this is a big like third wave of adoption, as big as the internet was early on, and then the apps wave. And I think a lot of people will not even realize that, like, Alejandro, like you said, that they're using crypto or agents on the back end, and we'll get to democratize financial intelligence.
Yeah, exactly. It's also interesting that, I mean, another concept that I really like that I learned or read about it the first time with Rebit Capital's token letter, which is that this concept of the money being connected or attached to context and knowledge, right? So money like digital assets, digital tokens are going to also be paired with your individual context as a human. So everything that makes you unique, and also with deep financial knowledge. So that money is going to move autonomously, with agents across the internet, across DeFi, to achieve whatever goals you have, right? Um, so yeah, I think this is something that, I mean, for me, is super clear. It's it, I imagine that, I mean, this is something new for many people, many users, even in DeFi, because in DeFi you are just used to, for example, when you are trying to get yield, you just send or deposit money into a vault, right? You are not used to this concept of signing permissions, uh, an agent transacting for you. It's kind of scary at first, I think, but this happens with every technology. So I think that eventually, that's what I say, that everyone is going to own or use an agent.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that, Alejandro. Yeah, and I think kind of I appreciate you showing us the demo. I appreciate you looking ahead towards the future. Yeah, I guess I'll give an opportunity if there's if anyone wants to add anything else about how the future of agentic finance will redefine a relationship with money. Where do we see this thing going within the next 12 months. Anyone want to add forward-looking opinions there?
I guess one thing I can add is, we talked about kind of this democratization of finance. I think what's interesting is crypto and DeFi is a very natural place for this kind of AgentFi to be born. But we're seeing more and more big trillion-dollar asset managers and institutions look seriously at this space as well. So, this combined with increased tokenization, we'll see equities trading 24/7 on chain very soon, and we already see it in some cases. Like, all of this is kind of, in my opinion, leading to this future where we have AI, DeFi, and traditional finance all converging on this one point in the very near future, where they're all going to be interacting with each other, and we'll have, whether it's at the moment, I think agents are very DeFi native, but I think as this convergence increases and keeps happening at the rate that's currently happening, we're going to end up in this future where, as Alejandro said, whether it's retail institutions using the same agents to trade any asset, interact with any asset, allocate efficiently across many different asset classes and optimize portfolios. I think that's kind of the future we're heading into. And I think it's probably here sooner than most people think. I think a lot of people have, they looked at, maybe they heard the buzzwords for agents 18 months ago. They traded some volatile tokens which didn't have necessarily much substance behind them, and they kind of assumed that was the agent method done. Whereas I think this year in particular, you're going to see a real resurgence in that, but with actual substance this time, and people, agents attracting real TVL from retail, ordinary people using crypto, but also these institutional clients coming in and really taking advantage of these tools.
I would like to just add that people should feel empowered to go out and experiment. To Jason's point about how democratized access to DeFi is, for such a long time, access to development was not so democratized, or you had to have specialized knowledge. But now you can basically just load up your own coding agent, Claude Code Cursor, Codex, whatever it is. Give it the Cambrian API, give it the Polymarket API, just ask it questions and just go experiment and maybe build your own agents. And, most people are going to want to be hands off, and that's totally fine. That's why we have Alejandro here to build Sail, where they could just park their money and feel trusted, feel some trust that it's going to be well managed. But people who want to get their hands dirty, I would really encourage them to just go out and start experimenting, because these APIs are very easy to use in our space. And by using them now, you'll start to get an edge, because now we're starting to see tokenized assets. And so you'll start to be able to, trade stocks on chain. You already can, just not to a large degree. So it's good to kind of get ahead of it now and start experimenting. So I would encourage everyone to do that.
Yeah, just to share mine, I agree with you guys as well. First, everything is going to be tokenized, so we are going to see these agents not only like depositing and withdrawing from DeFi protocols, they are also going to handle real world assets and other kind of basically everything that is on chain, right? Also, this is a fact. In TradFi, we have a personalized finance sector that is in the $3 trillion approximately. In DeFi, currently, if we take all of the agentic solution that we can classify as personalized, we have around 60 million, and the DeFi's TVL is 180 billion. So my prediction for this year, I think the sector is going to 10x. We're going to be at the $500-600 million managed, by DeFi agents. I think this is this is just a little, we are not even 1% of the total DeFi TVL. For me, it's clear the tendency, let's say. I imagine that in the next 5 years, at least 20% of the DeFi TVL is going to be managed by agents, and it's only up from there. So,
I completely agree with Alejandro's prediction, and I would even go further. I think there's a strong possibility where we end up in billions of TVL within agents and agentic protocols this year.
sure.
DeFi mobilizes so quickly when there's new opportunities. And I think once people start realizing, how well some of these agents are performing, then I think it won't be long before we start seeing that breakthrough. And when it happens, it'll happen very rapidly.
I agree. I agree. I think the sky is the limit. I think agents will redefine our relationship with finance in general. It's not just going to be right today. It's a niche. Today, people are learning about it. But I have a strong feeling this will power how people manage their money going forward. I think this will become the default way of doing things a couple of years from now, or sooner. But yeah, guys, I feel super lucky to have you guys on the stream. I feel like I've learned a lot, and I appreciate you sharing your predictions for the future. I want to give a special shout out to Alejandro. We're super lucky to have had your time today. I think you did a great job sharing a demo on sale, teaching us a little bit about the lore and the inspiration for how you want to make it easier for people to use. I think your comments on UI, UX, I mean, it's a big one. It's just things are super complicated. Why not abstract it away, help people make money in the process? So really appreciate your time today. I think we're coming to a great place to start saying goodbye. So I'll close on Cambrian's behalf. So yeah, guys, like I teased earlier on, Doug and the rest of the Cambrian team is hard at work researching the agentic finance landscape. So we plan to publish these reports quarterly. So we got one coming up in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned. You can follow us at Cambrian Network